Welcome back, YouTube. It is the Drunk Capitalist here again, and it seems as though more and more problems with builders are starting to surface when it comes to these new build homes. We have another video of another family that is struggling with their new home, and granted, by new we mean built and usually around the past 20 years. It's pretty much a new home. A new construction is like, around 10 years or less. And it seems that a lot of construction contract builders are pretty much messing up people's lives, like realistically, in order to make a quick buck and to have work and to, grow their business. They pretty much leave other people out in the cold. And we have another home that is facing a lot of water issues. So let's get into this news report.
To the I-Team now, a Cobb County family says their 8-year-old home has so many water problems it's unlivable, and their yard is so saturated they fear that a sinkhole could swallow their home.
It has been a living hell, according to the parents who are fighting with their builder in court to get a new home. Senior I-Team reporter Dale Russell investigated to see what could be the cause of all that water. Dale.
We were very curious, and it was a mystery to Kristen and Dwight James. They say water issues having waste shut down their home. But where was that water coming from? A search on a GIS map gave them a surprising clue.
You can see it just seeping up through the cracks.
Take a tour of Kristen and Dwight James' House of Horrors.
And it'll go all the way down the driveway, right to the road.
Active hot water leaks surface through cracks and flood the garage, forcing them and their teenagers to turn off the hot water heater when night.
See, that's one of the saddest things is when, people have like full-on families. The last video I showed, it was two, grown men living in that house. But like when you have children and you have to deal with this headache on a day-to-day basis, your home essentially flooding over and over again on a daily basis is just like, it's completely ridiculous. And I don't even understand why it takes so long for the court system to make these people whole again. I mean obviously, like pencil pushing or whatever, paper pushers usually take forever because they're not the ones dealing with it, right?
This happens all the time when you leave
Every
home.
day.
So you have to turn it off.
We have to turn it off all the time or our driveway would be flooded.
Go inside. It's hot.
Hot water pipe underneath here.
Oh, wow.
It's obviously broken.
More leaks.
And then inside the shower, there's more cracking.
Master shower leaks seep down to the kitchen below, forcing them to turn their shower off. And
so literally when they take a shower in their bathroom, it's flowing to the other floor. Like, that is massive plumbing issues. And what was this inspector inspecting? The inspector that inspects your house before you buy it, what were they doing? Because every house you're required to get an inspection. Well, I think nowadays people waive inspections on new homes. I'm not sure why, but some people waive inspections. I think it's so they can, get through the contract faster. But I would never suggest anyone waive an inspection because these are the problems you can end up laying in.
Use bathroom.
And then water was just coming out because this was moving.
Inside, cabinets are pulling away from walls, and outside, never-ending water saturates the backyard. I was just going to say I can hear it.
Right.
Squishing underneath your feet.
Here's the wet.
Yes.
One company told them the yard had gaps or the beginning of sinkholes.
Oh, be careful.
Oh my God. You can't help.
Yeah, that's really, really bad. And sinkholes, like I've said before, is something that you can't predict when it will sink. It's just gonna have to be a constant anxiety of like when it will sink and how big will it be. Because if you have wet water, wet dirt like this, and there's a dirt surface, right? It's usually compacted, and then once the water is there, it loosens it. But if there is a gap underneath that, grass surface, it can continue to erode and get deeper and deeper, and then one day at the right/wrong time, something has pressure on the top, right? Something has pressure on the top, and then that whole space that's underneath, you're going inside of it. It happens all the time, all around the world. I've seen trucks fall into sinkholes just on the road. It just happens, right?
But a sinking feeling
They concreted it in the pipe.
that their house could,
Look at that.
well, sink.
Look at this.
The only logical conclusion is it's a matter of time before those voids become so big that, yes, the house will drop. It will go.
The James family nightmare began after they bought their dream home in 2015. At first, they loved it. But according to a lawsuit filed against their builder, over time they discovered water leaks that led to plumbing issues and a water-soaked backyard. Then they got online and found Cobb County's GIS mapping system.
And I entered our address and boom, there it was.
A stream.
A stream.
A stream.
A stream.
So they found that a home was built on top of a stream of water, which is why their entire backyard and under their house has gaps and is constantly filling with water. And that's aside from the plumbing issues, because that has nothing to do with the shower flowing down into the kitchen. That's a different water issue. We're talking about the wetness of the soil, the stability of the land is showing the county that there is a whole stream going to an even bigger body of water a few 100 feet away.
GIS map.
Directly
A
under
blue
our house. A blue line.
If I look on a
Close to a
GIS
lake.
map and see a blue line, what does that tell me?
It should tell you to be concerned that there's water running through that piece of property or along that line.
Bert Langley worked for the State Environmental Protection Division for 40 years. He says that blue line could be anything from a stream that enjoys protection under water quality laws or a ditch that developers can reroute. No matter what, he says it should have been a warning to the builder.
It's certainly a big red flag.
Yeah, it should be a warning to the builder, but obviously if the builder can find a way to engineer and stabilize that area, then they should. And they should also probably mention it to the buyers. It's just crazy.
Again, let's look closer at this before we do anything.
Patrick Malloy Communities wouldn't talk because of the pending lawsuit. They wrote us to say they used qualified third-party engineering firms to design, supervise, test, and inspect all stages of development, and that each
Obviously not, though.
home complies with the applicable codes, rules, and regulations. The
Obviously not, though.
case is now headed to arbitration. The James family tells me they know of no other home in the neighborhood that has water underneath the house. But according to the James lawsuit, the James hired 2 different engineers to examine the home. In an attachment to the lawsuit, one engineer wrote, "The original home grading documents show an existing draining ditch crossing the lot which existed before the development of the subdivision." That fence is drenched.
It's drenched.
Another engineer included in their report a screen capture from a GIS map that showed the blue line under the James house and said the ditch was locally known as Noses Creek.
I felt validated at first because I was like, I knew it. And we both looked at each other and we're like, oh my God, we got it.
One engineer's final conclusion, the lack of soil compaction is directly related to the flow of water through the lot that was once Noses Creek, and that the home is uninhabitable.
Yeah, it's uninhabitable because it could sink at any moment. Not just the water falling in. You can fix that in so many ways. It'll cost a lot of money. And then obviously the other plumbing issue you have to fix as well. But you really can't fix an issue of you're on a slab and there's a gap underneath, right? And then there's also water streaming through it. Like, you can't fix that. You're on a lifeboat with a hole in it at this point, is what it is. And that is just a very dangerous way to live. And it sucks that, you know, people are paying their mortgages on homes like this, and, you know, they can't get out of them. And it's not like they can just leave their home and leave their mortgage and go rent another place and stuff like that, because they owe this money to the bank. And there needs to be at least some type of laws around this to get people that are in this type of situation a moratorium on their mortgage, because they're in such a dire situation where the home is uninhabitable. They should not be living in it, because it could end their lives or their children's lives just sleeping at night. You know what I mean? Just walking around on the floors is a dangerous thing. So yeah, I'm just saying, we gotta watch out for these things. Like, it's the Drunk Capitalist here. Thank you guys for watching again. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.